All right, welcome to the video on functions and evaluating functions. To get started, I want to talk about function notation. This is a special way that we represent functions. If you look at this first example here on the left, this says f of x equals 4x minus 5. The way you read this is you say f of x is, that's for the equal sign, 4x minus 5. What this means is that there is a function called f it has an x variable in it, and then the function itself is 4x minus 5. So this f with the parentheses and the x in it is read f of x. That's how we're going to say that. Another example over here, we would say this as g of a is a plus a squared. Same thing. This is just a function called g. It has an a variable in it, and the function is a plus a squared. So when we talk about function notation, we're talking about the name of the function and then the parentheses that indicate what variable is in the function. This is going to be important as we evaluate functions. To evaluate a function, we're going to be looking at inputs and outputs. So it says for each input, remember that's the domain we talked about. Yikes. For each input or domain, find the corresponding output or range. So the input's going to be what we're putting in. So if we're going to use this function, h of x is equal to negative 2x plus 5, I want to find h of 3. That means I'm going to put this 3, put it in for every x that I see in the function. Put 3 in for x. So my function is now going to look like negative 2. Instead of x, I'm going to put in a 3. Where the x is, I'm replacing this x with a 3. And I'm going to do plus 5. Well, then I'm just going to simplify this. And this is just some order of operations math. Negative 2 plus 3 is negative 6. Plus 5 is equal to negative 1. And so I can say h of 3 equals negative 1. When I put 3 in for my input, I get negative 1 out as my output. Now I'm going to find h of negative 2. Same thing, I'm going to put negative 2 in for this x. So it's going to be negative 2 times negative 2. So this negative 2 is from the function, and then this negative 2 is my input, plus 5. Negative 2 times negative 2 is positive 4, plus 5. My answer is 9. So h of negative 2 input is equal to 9. This is my output. Remember, the other words we're using for this is input is my domain, output is my range. Let's look at a couple more examples. Here's a little bit more of a complicated function. F of n is equal to n squared plus 5n minus 1. Well, I want to find f of negative 1. That means I'm going to put negative 1 in for the n here, and I'm going to put it in for the n here. So it's going to be plus 5 times negative 1 again, and then minus 1 is part of the function. So I've replaced this n and this n with my input of negative 1. Again, I'm just going to simplify this. Negative 1 squared is negative 1 times negative 1, which is positive 1, plus 5 times negative 1 is negative 5, minus 1. 1 minus 5 is negative 4, minus another 1 is negative 5. There's my answer. Input negative 1, output negative 5. Input of 4, same thing. I'm going to do 4 squared plus 5 times 4 minus 1. 4 squared, 16. 5 times 4 is 20. Minus 1. 16 plus 20 is 36. Minus 1 is 35. Input of 4, output of 35. Domain of 4, range of 35. If you put in 10, 10 squared plus 5 times 10 minus 1. 10 squared, 100. 5 times 10, 50. Minus 1, that's going to be 150 minus 1, or 149. Input of 10, output of 149. Input or domain of 10, range of 149. Here's one more set of examples. I can sometimes talk about my inputs as a grouping. I want to have the domain of a function is 2, 3, and 4. Find the corresponding range. Well, that means I need to find f of 2, f of 3, and f of 4. Here's my function. F of x is equal to 3x squared. Subtract x divided by 2. In both x's, I'm going to replace with a 2, and then a 3, and then a 4. So for the 2, it becomes 3 times 2 squared minus 2 over 2. 3, let's see, exponents first, right? So 2 squared is 4. 4 times 3 is 12. Subtract 2 over 2 is 1. My output is 11. For this one, it's going to be 3 times 3 squared minus 3 over 2. 3 squared is 9. 9 times 3 is 27. So I have 27 minus 3 halves is 1.5. So I'm left with 25.5. Put in 4. 3 times 4 squared minus 4 over 2. 4 squared is 16. 16 times 3 is 48. Minus 4 over 2 is 2. 48 minus 2 is 46. The way I might show this answer is my domain is what I had up above, 2, 3, and 4. My range is 11, 25.5, and 46. Most important thing to remember about this is being careful about how you're placing in your x's, that you're replacing both, and then that you're following the order of operations to simplify this. Good luck!